Let's see. Anything else that I need to uptie? Or rather that I can uptie? Not giving you any. That's for freaking sure. You... You I have not. I think. Kinda want to keep Gregor's ego shots, so Ishmael. Your ego shots will be sacrificed. Alright. And is that it? I know you, but I don't want to use that one. Well, actually no, because I'll be using you. So, that means... after I finally got the, sinners, the IDs that I wanted, that should apparently be far better. Yeah. Alright. So, what I want to do then is honestly get as much cost as I can, because I just don't like any of the most of the things that are available here. So there we go. This shall be my team for now on. Until I get Bloodfiend Gregor, then I'll be switching out Claire for Bloodfiend Gregor. Yeah. Or Bloodfiend Otis. Either way. Also, I just forgot that I need to up the volume of my game again. Ba-da-ba. There we go. Resume. Alright. Let's go. Evaded all that. Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't shard Bloodfiend Otis, so I got her from using a guaranteed Deca extraction ticket while grinding for Ring Yisong. Dear lord, I fucking hate this shit, man. The, you know, clashing. Huh. Oh well.
여기 걸어다니는 노다지가 해롱해롱하고 있어. 당장 손질하라옴.
But really hopeless? What the fuck? Hey. Oh wow. Oh, okay. Good. Alright. At least now I don't have as many IDs that are oh wait, no, that is week 2. Well. It's still going to be much better than what I was using before, so.
어떤 상황이 닥쳐도 포기하지 마세라.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
우리의 투지를 깨뜨릴 수 없을 테니. 자, 꿰뚫리고. 추잡하네.
기대해라. 벌써 끝나가는군.
연장 솜씨가 현란하죠.
선물 만들고 도구
Alright.
연습만 하는 것이요?
가족을 위해. 실밥이 터졌나?
Might be able to finish this before the end of the year, for all I know. Well, before the end of the year, my time.
그 오물을 다 죽어라.
걱정은 하지 않겠습니다. 어차피 이미 이길 거라고 확신하고
잘라낸다.
있을 테니까. 흐르는 피로가.
예쁘네. 네 피부색.
좋아, 다 죽어라.
Good. This is fine. No, I'm not gonna do. Maybe I might do that, but. Like. Oh, here I go.
사람들을 뒤엎는다.
Hey.
선물을 잔뜩 만들 수 있을 것 같음.
떨거지는
기쁘고
잘라낸다.
신나는 날이요. 좋아.
기원을 갖추는
저기는 땅에 떨어졌네.
제대로
Yeah, I think I like this team alright.
내가 눈에 새겨주지. 기대해라.
Great clashing, great damage.
연장 솜씨가 현란하죠.
Well, better clashing than before. And what I had before. And better damage than what I had before.
따뜻한
And no sinking either.
엎드리도록.
꿰뚫려라.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
다 죽어라.
So, if I'm able to, then I'll probably be finishing this in one... Finishing... Well, I might not be able to finish the boss in the one attempt, but whatever.
카니발 타임.
I'll probably at least be able to get much further
떨거지는 잘라낸다.
than last stream.
그 오물을 떼어내주지. 합격장. 불길 속으로.
공격이네요. 너희의 앞으로도 그렇게만 해주세요.
고귀하게
쏟아내.
Yes. Death. For all that stand in my way.
불을
battle.
정화하고 깨끗한 세계를 세우라.
두려움을 모르는 건 나쁘지 않습니다. 잘라낸다. 또 무식하게 돌격하실 거라면 전 알겠습니다. 괜찮은 공격이네요. 앞으로도 그렇게만 해주세요.
고귀하게
실밥이 터졌네. 꿰뚫려라. 맘. 걱정은 하지 않겠습니다.
고귀하게
어차피 이미 이길 거라고 확신하고 있으실 테니까.
그 오물을 다 죽어라.
Perhaps I'll go for this last ego gift. Yeah. Song. Ringy song.
합격점이구려.
Ah. Not yet. But I'm on my way to him.
이거 참 설레는구려.
I did do a bunch of mirror dungeon grinding,
두려움을 모르는 건 나쁘지 않습니다만.
so I have a much better team.
맞겠습니다. 엎드리고. 실밥이 터졌나?
고귀하게
원더풀 선택이었어 나리! 선대 약점이 뻔히 보이는 게로군! 그들은 낙마하지 않을 것이네! 피를 흘리고 숨이 가빠져와도 결국 우위를 점했기 때문이지!
불길 속으로. 그 오물을
꿰뚫려라.
연장 솜씨가 현란하슈.
선물 만들고 도구 연습만 하는 것이오?
이상이 무엇이라 생각하시오?
조금만 더 힘내라오.
고귀하게
맞음. 선물 받을 기구들을 떠올리시옴.
고통은 금방이지만 기쁨은 오래 갈 것이오.
I think I'll probably be able to do it pretty easily. If I'm able to do that pretty easily. Now. Who do I need to heal? I need to heal you. That's for sure. Alright, and then I'm definitely taking you, thank you. Huh? So yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I don't need it. So you. And... I mean, do I even need you, though? Not really. I'd rather be able to enhance the other things. I'd rather be able to enhance this one, especially. And I might as well do that with the remaining. Alright.
라만 차렌들을 뒤엎는
So we begin.
어떤 상황이 닥쳐와도 포기한
But, I mean...
하겠습니다. 너무 유치하잖아요.
If you instead do that, you do that, you do that. There we go. I know. You might not be able to use them that easily. Considering. Should be able to clash much more easily with most of his attacks. And should be having much more bleed on him as a result.
합격장.
어이? 그건 저들이 거리낄 것 같지 않은데. 아하! 한 수 접어주신 겐가?
불길 속으로. 그 오물을
Wait, am I gonna be able to wait, I might actually be able to stagger him this turn.
옥질의 수.
거기가 약점인 것 같아.
Wait a minute. Might be. Hold on. This. I might be ending him before he even gets a chance.
기회를 잡았네. 이쪽은 진화를 꺾어 넘긴다면
떨거지는
저들의
잘라낸다.
사기가 떨어질 것이 뻔하지.
I might be able to end him before he even gets a chance. Oh my god.
앞으로도 그렇게만 해주세요.
Oh my. To claim their bones, huh?
오래 갈 것이오.
You ain't getting the chance to do that, my guy.
내가 눈에 새겨주지.
And he's fucking down. Okay. As I said, I don't think he'll be getting a chance to do that. Oh, the first fucking try with a new team. I'm sticking with this team. Holy. Ah, the dungeon. After a grueling battle, and as we finally managed to drag bamboo-headed Kim to his knees, like a mirage, the Fathoms of Ego began to fall apart. The monolith had already left the Fathoms of Ego and was back at the center of the office. Just as the office began to resemble the one we had all walked into, the radio I carried began to buzz again. Ah, can you hear me? If you do, give me a TikTok. TikTok. Very funny, Dante. You know you just barely survived a deadly encounter, right? Alright, I didn't, I had this, as, what? Where is... I can't put it in full screen. Fuck. Oh well. So there'll be this thing at the bottom, but it's barely noticeable anyway. Oh, she asked me to. Perfect. We really don't have much time left. Since it looks like the mall is briefly stabilized, let me tell you how to lock it down. Don't take too long or that distortion is going to turn into an abnormality. Follow my instructions to a T and don't lag behind. It's all about precision and speed. He seems awfully cheerful for how dire the situation is. I followed the radio's instruction and reached out to the monolith with my palms. Oh, some light came out of it when I reached out with my fingers. The voice coming from the radio was pretty nonchalant about all this, but it almost sounded like she could see exactly what I was looking at. Right, straight down from there. Yep, you're doing good. Now move left, take it slow now. I couldn't help but wonder if I was doing this right, but I still followed directions and drew a trail of light with my hand over the monolith. Ah, Mentor! The shimmering black tendrils began to withdraw from bamboo-headed Kim's body. Maybe the distortion is withdrawing too. Good work, Detective. The levels are stabilizing. Ah, I can't seem to stop calling you Detective, huh? Sorry, old habits die hard, you know. It sounds like she's reporting to someone else on the other side of this communication. Good work, bus dudes. LCA will be there in a minute. So just sit tight. Huh? LCA? Not that rude after team lady from earlier? Well, anyways, thanks for the assist, everyone. LCD Distortion Task Force Ezra, over and out. The radio shut off before any of us had the chance to say anything again. And not 5 seconds later... My, they're really piling in, huh? LCA, the Special Operations Unit. Orders. Commencing secured item retrieval. Right, the item is custody target T276, confirmed and secured. Well, looks like our job is done here. I didn't even have to say anything, not that they could hear me anyway, before the uniformed troops marched in and started attaching various tools to the monolith. Trouble T27601 unconfirmed. Requesting location. What are you blathering about? Rewarding. Where's the distorted individual? Ah, I'm aware of whom you seek. He sits next to the monolith. Where has he gone? The individual by the name Angdu dragged him out behind that sofa. The approximate time of event 3 minutes ago. Didn't I ask you to tell us if you noticed something important going on in the background? I will make an immediate report should an identical event occur. That's when I noticed that the LCA agents were growing visibly uneasy. Alert. Abnormal reaction detected from an entity in T27601's proximity. And when that agent ran over and kicked over the sofa... Miss Angdu. There was Angdu, her arms tightly wrapped around a bamboo-headed Kim. Her hand holding a blade that dug deep into her mentor's flesh. I know not of your painful past. I cannot possibly know in detail what you have gone through, but that cannot be a just reason, an excuse for cutting down your very own fellows. Miss Angdu, that man was not himself. If the blade has consumed my mentor, turned him into a fiend, then I will end him myself. It has to be me. No, not at all. It's all excuses, that's all it is. If Mentor didn't bring some odd invitation to us. If he hadn't caused us to flee S-Corp, our home, to begin with. Oh, yes, I hear you. Your voice is finally growing clear. Don't you dare! Mutation. Distortion of the subject entity confirmed. Suspicion. Phase 1 of the monolith reactivation process may have been engaged. They can't just let her be. She's going to distort. Mersault, knock Miss Angdu out. Mersault struck Angdu hard before the LCA agents even had the chance to do anything. Stabilized. Distortion nullified by the subject's loss of consciousness. Stab wound confirmed on subject T27601. Wound not critical. Will not pose challenge to retrieval and recovery. I have carried out the tasks you have ordered. Thank you. What just happened? Was that caused by the monolith's influence too? A plausible explanation, the monolith was properly sealed, but its lingering influence seems to have seeped into her. Oh, hey! Bubbles went bonkers over there just now. The radio began buzzing all on its own again. Requesting radio. I will receive LCD's message. Okay. Acknowledged. Please speak. Huh? Oh, you're LCA, aren't you? I'm Elzar from LCD. Nice to acknowledged. Commencing sitrep. You know what? You're not the only one who knows how to cut people off. I already got here sitrep, okay? I don't need it. There are 2 people there, right? Just bring them both over here. Negative. Exact orders state that retrieval targets to be... Come on, loosen up some, eh? Huh? Concern. The monolith alone will be a difficult subject to contain. That's okay. Our very own our very own LCD team leader said she'll take care of it. Besides that monolith, the detective and I have successfully retrieved that before. And, considering that the 2 of them are both returnees from the library, considering that the 2 of them have both been pulled from the edge of distortion, it'll definitely help us with our records, don't you think? Understood. However, what the hell? Are we kidnapping them for some dodgy human experience or something? Okay, so I know that there's been some Gary rumors of kidnappings in T-Corp, but what we're doing here is completely unrelated, alright? I'd appreciate it if you didn't compare us to the likes of those backstreets rumors. Sure, you guys can leave them here, but if we don't take them in, they'll distort and get killed. And who knows, the Kurokumo clan or even the Thumb could catch wind of this and pick them up instead. I suppose you're right. Anyways, make sure to bring them in. Both of them. Okay? Acknowledged. Retrieving now. The call dropped. The agent swarmed around the pair, bound them, and disappeared out the door. All of it was done in one fluid, practiced motion. I don't know when it happened, but they'd already retrieved the monolith when that LCA agent picked up LCD's call. Right, so, mission accomplished, huh? I guess so. Warning. Recommended action for the manager. Immediate extraction from the scene. Imminent arrival of the Thumb. Highly likely. So after the middle is the Thumb. Heh. What I wouldn't give to see the look on their stuck-up faces. I think he's telling us to get out of here before the Thumb catches us red-handed. Correction. Limbus Company was already on a crash course against the Thumb the moment we commenced this mission. That makes sense. It'll only be a matter of time before they put the pieces together and realize that we were involved in what happened. Are you sure that we can handle not only the middle, but also the Thumb? Irrelevant. A foe is a friend, and a friend is a foe for Limbus Company. Delayed. Extracting scene first. With that cryptic message, the LCA agent quickly withdrew from the scene. He knows something, but it won't tell us what it is. At least that was the impression I got from the way he spoke. Okay. Yeah. Next is Canto 6. I came to meet so many departments of the company in such quick succession, the LCA, the LCD, and the LCCA. An old question arose once again, something I'd forgotten as we kept ourselves busy with the missions we've carried out so far. I really don't know much about this company I'm working for. And there's this mysterious Herman, and the equally puzzling Damien. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, I really don't know anything. Maybe what I know amounts to nothing more than a pinch of knowledge available to the powers that be. I thought we were pretty deep into our journey, but I was starting to feel that in the far future, if I were to look back on the records of this journey, we wouldn't even be 10 pages into the book. I began walking back to the bus with the sinners, my head further mired in confusion. Ooh, we really ran into a lot of people in such a short time, huh? Well, I'm pretty happy that I got to know more about the workings of this company. Once we returned to the bus, the sinners each began chattering away, about what had just happened. I wonder what's going to happen to Aindu, or Bamboo-Headed Kim. That does not appear to be information we are privy to. Though we all work under the same company, all that the LCD shared with us was the name of our contact, Ezra. Then, is Limbus company truly kidnapping people for human experiment? You don't just start experimenting on humans like that. That's something that just happens. Remember what that LCD woman said? Rumors are just that, rumors. Gregor furrowed his brows as though some unpleasant memories of the past began flooding in. He dug into his pockets for a cigarette. There's LCD, but LCD just seems really out of place. Even when compared to other departments, it's like they're from a completely different company. As we made our way back to the bus, I slowly began to organize my thoughts on everything that's happened. I didn't know that it wasn't the most productive thing for me to do. Faust, you're not going to answer any of my questions, are you? I apologize. At the present moment, it's difficult for me to disclose any information that does not concern the LCB department. It's like impatience is a prerequisite for boarding this bus. Manager or sinner. Virgilius sighed as he muttered, "You must have seen me burying my clock head in my palms. Your journey will inevitably lead to the answers to all of your questions, Dante. Just follow the path and it shall all be revealed. You have no reason to rush." Besides, Virgilius' gaze fixed for a brief moment slightly above my head. I wonder if he's looking at my flame. It's nothing. Perhaps your impatience is rubbing off on me. I suppose I shall find out along the way as well. Virgilius scoffed and muttered something incomprehensible to himself, then turned away from me. It was clear that he had no intention of continuing this exchange. Let's go, Charon. Been waiting for vroom vroom time. Driving to the famous heights of T-Corp. So, the bus took off once again, sometimes bustling, sometimes dead silent. Wow.
당연한 결과죠. 저는 선택받았으니까.
I'll probably be going back to do a specific one. This one. To actually do the extra objective. Now that I know for sure that
상황이 닥쳐도 포기하지
should
마세요.
be easy.
우리의 투지를 꿰뚫을 수 없을 테니.
Maybe. Should be easy. Anyway. I hate that evade, man. Oh well. Not as many as I should have saved up, but
이건 도도루 실장에게 말해둘 것이오.
I've got at least 90? Is it 9-10 pulls?
저들의 약점이 뻔히
정
보이는 게
찍었네.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do this good in 10 turns. As I had hoped.
미래 속으로.
as I thought I would be able to do since I got a new team, a much better team. Yeah, there we go. Good. Got the last bit of lunacy.
당연한 결과죠. 저는 선택받았으니까.
Good. Now,
그렇겠죠?
first of all, Mini. Guess the traffic sucks no matter which nest we go to. We've been traveling at a snail's pace through the extreme congestion of the nest for several days now. Already clearly affected by this boredom, sighed and muttered. We've been through similar and long periods of inactivity before, but boredom isn't something one could easily get used to. I suppose it became a part of my job to listen to the sinners complain about the slow pace of our travel. Much longer until the T Corp immigration checkpoint. My only option is to give them a reminder of how far we are from our destination. Considering that we will be on standby for approximately a day at our next stop, and taking into account various other stops we will be making en route, our estimated time of arrival is in 3 days. It's not like we were traveling very far, but with this awful traffic, it feels way further than it really is. Gregor's right. It didn't seem like the city was that big. Maybe there's something to these inevitable, overly long travel times. Something I'm yet to understand. I guess driving around in a large bus through the narrow back streets is what's taking us such a long time. But I believe that it would have been faster to march on foot. Yet what of our room and board? Are you unaware that camping out in the open is a natural part of any long march? Hey, Officer Otis, not everyone's been a soldier here. And if we were unlucky, we might even run into those terrifying sweepers before the break of dawn. Even a partial mention of their name drains all color from Sinclair's face. I remember what the sinners once told me about them, that before the break of dawn, there are these things called sweepers that sweeps up every trash in the back streets. It's kind of terrifying how broad their definition of trash can be. Call that hour the night in the back streets, or something like that. This bus is one of the few vehicles recognized by the city as a residential vehicle, which means that we remain safe from the hands of sweepers. Attempting to sleep outside the bus in back streets would not permit a restful sleep, that one would be forced to survive the onslaught of sweepers for an hour in the early hours of dawn. Makes sense, so sweepers do steer clear of the residential areas after all. A slow yet safe travel by vehicle, or a fast yet high-risk march on foot. This is quite the strategic dilemma. I do not believe that the latter option is upper consideration of any fellow. The bus is once again consumed by commotion. And into that commotion barged in the creak of an opening door and a familiar sigh. I understand that you all must be quite impatient, but we are precisely on schedule, so save your breaths and stop complaining. By the looks on your faces, I would have been worrying about a mutiny if I didn't know better. Those papers in your hand, new orders from the higher-ups? Virgilius was holding what appeared to be a bundle of freshly printed paper. This wasn't the first time something like this happened. Sometimes, after communicating in his room with the higher-ups of the company, he'd bring out a few sheets of paper to bring us up to speed. Yes, a new update. Don't tell me we're going on another detour. I'll say that I'm quite done cleaning up these distorted messes. Look, we have to get to... Stop whining like a petulant child. There won't be more detours until we reach our current destination. Virgilius furrowed his brows, walked up to the front of the bus, and leaned against one of the first row chairs. He began leisurely shuffling through the documents. This is just an announcement. It says here that there will be changes to how your records of abnormalities, distortions, and peccatula are categorized. Huh? Wait, so we gotta do a bunch of paperwork? No. Once completed, your observation logs are all digitized and shared with the upper echelons of the company. Of course, if the observation logs themselves need to be edited, there may be orders to make direct adjustments by hand. However, the categorization for each entity will be updated automatically. They are merely informing the sinners of the upcoming changes. It is nice to have someone else do the explaining for once. He's right. I presume that this ought to do with the new types of peccatula that we have encountered before. Yes, but that isn't all. Virgilius closed his eyes warily and lightly folded the papers in his hands. He called out to the two sinners. Yisong. Ishmael. He was pointing at Ishmael and Yisong. Yeah? Have called upon my name. I'll leave it to you two model students to explain the contents of these documents. I don't feel like I'm up to the task of explaining what's on this paper to all of you. Okay. With that, Virgilius pretty much shoved the paper in Ishmael's hands before taking a seat in the front row of the bus. Did he just dump his responsibility onto us? Ishmael didn't seem too happy about this sudden turn of events, so she opened the documents and began reading. I can never tell if he actually doesn't care about us, or if he just naturally comes off as a cold person. So what does this thing say, Ishi? Give me a sec. So, does it say anything new about the abnormalities? Looks like these documents are from the LCD. The sender address says, oh, LCD is the department that contacted Manager Esquire, is it not? Ezra, was it? I still vividly remember her chaotic, bubbly voice coming through the radio. The former L-Corp. Buzz begins to fill with the familiar hectic buzz once again. Oh, if you would allow me to. Miss Ishmael? Yi Song chimed in to help with Ishmael's explanations of the documents, but this is exactly why I'm the only one who ever reads the guides. I can see veins starting to pop in Ishmael's fingers. At this rate, she's going to drop the documents in favor of her mace. Wait, Ishmael, I got this, calm down. I hurried over to Ishmael and practically hung onto the documents in her hands. We nearly tore the bundle of documents in half, but she quickly gave up and loosened her grip. Yoshu, Otis, please keep Don Quixote and Heathcliff quiet while I take care of this. Oh no. Oh yes, this will be fun. Without killing them or beating them up, please. Ha! Yoshu slowly lowered Don Quixote's lance she'd picked up. Alright then, if you have any questions while Ishmael reads from the document, raise your hands to be recognized. Yisong, Faust, you guys don't need to raise your hands to speak, so please chime in if there are any details you can elaborate on. Understood. Very well. Rhodia, if anyone tries to speak out of turn, please smack them lightly in the head. If you do good, I'll make sure to order you extra desserts during our team dinner. You sure know how to motivate people, Dante. What an impressive growth of leadership capabilities, Executive Manager. Alrighty then. First bond goes to... Wait, this wasn't... A few minutes later, after a quick commotion, I found this situation settled enough to return the documents to Ishmael's hands. Then, I'll leave it to you. So the former L-Corp, also known as the Lobotomy Corporation, used to contain and manage the abnormalities that we faced in their branches. Even taking into account that their strengths were suppressed by the Golden Bows, there was a pretty significant difference between their risk level categorizations and the actual risk involved in facing them. Other employees and the higher-ups of Limbus Company also apparently felt that something was familiar yet off, and that's why they investigated this issue through the LCD department. So far, there have been 5 categories of risk levels. 5? Aren't there only 4 of them? Rhodia punched Heathcliff in the crown of his head, and he promptly slumped to the ground, out cold. Maybe it was the suddenness of the attack that did it. You didn't kill him, did you? Nah, he'll be fine. It's Heath. It's not like I smacked him that hard. Sinclair quietly raised his hand. Alright, you can go ahead. Ishmael nodded at Sinclair. Well, I thought there were only 4 risk levels. Zion, yes, he and Bob, just like Heathcliff said, they're the only ones we've seen so far, yeah. But according to these documents, the highest risk level category is labeled Aleph. It's about an hour away, but yeah, Happy New Year's. Like I said earlier, there's a pretty significant disparity between their categorization standards and our experience with them in the field. Or at least an hour away for me, it is. And for me, I'm not hearing fireworks. But that's fine. Which is why they're apparently planning to make overhauls to those standards, by Limbus Company's standards. Go ahead, Mersalt. I must inquire what exactly this overhaul entails. Does this mean that the abnormalities will be recategorized within the pre-existing framework of categorization? Or will additional risk level categories be created? It doesn't elaborate that far, but it says here that Lobotomy Corporation used each abnormalities and Keflin production capability to categorize them into different risk levels. Abnormalities with more complicated, difficult management conditions apparently produce more in Keflin. I guess the more complicated an abnormality is, the harder they are to fight. That does line up with our own experiences. Sort of. But it can hardly be said that it was flawless. Looks to me that they're trying to make these risk levels better reflect our own field experiences, which doesn't rule out the possibility of them adding more tiers to the pre-existing ones. For we conduct not management but combat against these foes, it is sensible that the standards for risk levels be adjusted in accordance to... Oh. Rodeo, wait, Yusong can speak without raising his hand. Oh, right, my bad. I managed to stop Rodeo just before her fist connected with Yusong's crown. It was almost as if she was moving based on a pure instinct. So that's why they're overhauling the risk levels based on the actual risk each abnormality poses in battle. We do well to be wary of the possible changes to the risk levels written in the observation logs. And they'll let us know again once the precise details are decided. The next section is about distortions, which... Don Quixote raised her hand. Also, I should really... change the title. And see if I can squeeze it. I cannot squeeze in that, so I have to do... yes, part 1. I'll have to leave out Blade Fiend's Fathoms. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I'll definitely be... I could probably do that now. If I shorten the title, then I should be able to rather shorten the... There we go. Although I have seen it turn to YFCB. But I won't be using that here. Alright, but Ishmael continued to explain without coming to a stop. She probably just ignored her. So far, we've been using the same subject classification codes as abnormalities for distortions, but it's gotten pretty clear that there's a big difference between them. enough to give these two groups distinct classification codes, that difference being... Unglu raised his hand and Ishmael nodded. Don Quixote appeared a bit crestfallen. The difference is that when defeated, abnormalities transform into their egg-like forms, but distortions don't. Am I right? Correct. Distortions can be completely subdued simply by defeating them in battle, but any method of fully slaying an abnormality is yet to be discovered, even in theory. So she says, we've all had first-hand experience against them, so it shouldn't be too hard to understand. Ugh, here comes the last subject. This one's about the Picatula. They're going to give them a classification code scheme different from the abnormalities as well, including the new type of Picatula we recently encountered. Let's see, classification bases, abnormalities, and distortions both have elements of uniqueness that is missing in each individual Picatula. And considering this, it has been deemed okay. I don't really get what this is talking about. Faust walked up next to Ishmael and began to explain. Uniqueness in this context refers to the fact that no same entity exhibits the same location. It would be helpful to recall that our encounters with the Picatula have always been against multiple duplicates of the same category, Picatulum. However, no such encounters have been made against distortions and abnormalities. Hopefully this has been a sufficient explanation for all. Alright, so simply put, we can just toss them Picatula onto the same bin, but each and every one of them abnormalities and distortions is special and unique, eh? They could have explained it much easier if they just... bonk. Heathcliff seemed to have woken up from his coma, but I'll be looking forward to that extra dessert. His moment of lucidity barely lasted a moment. Poor Heath. And that's all there is to it. Yeah, this is pretty great, huh? Refreshing doing something like this once in a while. Don Quixote has not lowered her hand since Ishmael ignored her for the first time. Not even for a brief moment. Fine. Ask away. Dost thou know the name of the FCD employee who hath composed that report? Ishmael seemed a bit taken back that Don Quixote actually managed to ask a rather sensible question, even though it was asked with that very same enthusiasm he has when talking about fixers, that is. Oh, sure. Give me a sec. The Center LCD on site investigation and reasoning team leader, Moses. Well, we might as well keep that name in mind since we'll probably run into them sooner or later. I'm sorry for ignoring you, Don Quixote. Ah, Moses. Right. Pretty sure that's important for later, yeah. Anyway, though Don Quixote was finally given the answer she so passionately craved, she did not appear happy or excited about it. Instead, she seemed to be absorbed in deep thought. Something wrong, Don Quixote? I recall hearing that name in the past. Yet, I cannot recall as to who that name may have belonged to. Okay, now we're actually done. Darn, thought I'd be able to collect a bit more dessert. This was more time consuming than was initially expected. Dante, now... Oh, right. It's about time. Alright then, I hereby confirm today's close of business for the Sinners. This could have dragged on for much longer, but the Sinners were thankfully pretty cooperative, so we managed to finish our day early. I followed the Sinners to the back door of the bus, my heart a little lighter than it was at the start of the day. Huh. I feel like I'm forgetting something. It took me about 30 minutes to realize that we left Heathcliff out cold on the bus floor. Oof. Anyway. Awesome. So, do I continue? I mean, I still have plenty of time. I'm not working tomorrow anyway. I'm not working New Year's. So, might actually begin on Canto 6. Yeah. I did. eventually spend a bit, but not a lot. But yeah, I have 50 pin pulls here, and however many of that is. Five pulls. So I have 55. No, 50. No, 50. 100 pulls. 100. Yeah. 10 pulls. I thought my math earlier was right. Good. Alright. But yeah, this got to about 99 at one point. The Enkeflin modules that I had. Then I used them all for XP excavations and of course mirror dungeons. But that's fine. At least now I shouldn't need to read it. Oh, hold on. Actually, I want to go back into full screen, as I remembered. Graphics, full screen. There we go. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright. Now I begin.
돌아와, 히스. 보랏빛 꽃만이 유일한 아름다움으로 남아있는 그 저택으로. 폭풍으로 뚫린 균열 사이로 모든 온기가 빠져나갔던 그 저택으로. 너에게 삶을 내어준 대신 모멸감과 무너짐을 안겨주었던 그 저택으로. 난로불 가운데가 아닌 차가운 모퉁이 어기만이 네 자리였던 그 저택으로.
Honestly, I think I'll be ending the stream after reading this. I won't have that much energy in Keflin anyway, so I think it's a good place to end it. So this is what T-Corp's nest looks like. We had surprisingly little trouble making it past the nest's borders. I guess my concerns were unfounded.
뭐 다행히도 이번 둥지 입국 심사는 별일 없이 넘어왔네요.
아이, 이 정도야 뭐. 에이, 칭찬은 굳이 안 해도 괜찮다고 하지 않았어.
아무도 하진 않았는데.
다 컸어, 이제.
Everyone seems awfully relaxed for having just entered a different nest. I guess everyone's gotten used to this by now. Humdrum, routine. I guess it'd be the words to describe the general sentiment among the sinners. Except for one, that is. Heathcliff. We're headed to this place called Wuthering Heights next, right? I could tell from Heathcliff's glum expression that his mind was weighed down by all kinds of complicated concerns.
그렇지.
Though his eyes were staring at the moving scenery past the windows, his mind was fixed on something that his eyes couldn't see. Something that lay beyond the building walls.
하이츠라. 무지하게 강한 바람이 불었던 집이었나 보죠.
그 저택은 바람이 지랄맞게 불었어. 아늑한 구석은 하나도 찾을 수 없는 곳이었지.
Heathcliff's voice carried an unusually dark tone. The other sinners on the bus noticed this and began shutting him up.
고향에 당도한다니 마음이 참 복잡하겠소.
고향이라 뭐 태어난 곳이 아니라 자라온 곳이긴 한데 하긴 그것도 고향이라면 고향이겠지. 근데 보통 고향하면 떠올리는 감정은 아니야.
하면
머릿속에선 수천 번도 넘게 상상했어. 내가 그 빌어먹을 집안에 돌아가서 모든 걸 남김없이 부수고
모든 걸 부숴서 그 다음엔 뭘 하려고 했는데요? 저를 보고도 깨달은 게 없는 거예요?
있어.
아,
일단 내가 획가닥해서 되져버리기 직전까지 가게 되더라도 너희 중 하나가 어떻게든 끄집어내줄 거라는 거.
아.
뭐 두들겨 패서라도 꺼내달라는 건가요?
두들겨 패서라도 그럴 필요가 있으면.
He's clear.
어디까지 허용이 되지?
아,
신체
어이.
절단과 신경 조직 손상 중에
머리 같은 데를 세게 쥐어박는 정도는
yeah. I'm
괜찮지
like,
않을까요?
you don't have to go
이
too far.
새끼들.
Come on.
나한테 쌓인 걸 풀라는 의미가 아니라고. 지금 진지하게.
그래도
Exactly.
지금의 히스클리프 씨라면 잘 해내실 것 같다는 생각이 들어요.
뭔 소리야? 지금이라니.
지금의 히스클리프 씨는 가난하고 남은 게 아무것도 없잖아요.
Oi.
뭐? 가난? 이제는 아예 대놓고 시비 걸기로 작정했냐?
Huh.
내가
아니 오해가 있으신 것 같아요.
Yeah. Hung Lu is far from the most talkative sinner, but when he does speak, he usually has something insightful to say. Though, since he never says it in a way that's immediately obvious, his words are very prone to misunderstandings.
저희는 모두 가난해요. 그러니 예전과는 많은 게 달라졌을 거예요. 어쩌면 가진 게 아무것도 없을 때가 되어서야 몰랐던 걸 깨달을 수도 있으니까요.
가난하여서 이렇게 구릿구릿한 색깔을 계속 가지고 다녀야 하는 거요?
No. Don Quixote looked mournfully at everything around her, and then at herself. She sounded like she was about to cry. Everything had been drained of color since the moment we entered the T-Corp through the back streets. It feels like even more of our colors have been taken away since then.
그 얘기 언제 하나 했어? 대체 언제까지 이런 색깔로 다녀야 하는 거야? 라는 생각을 한 게 불과 10시간 전인데
Huh.
가도 원상복귀가 되지 않잖아.
No.
이대로 평생 칙칙하게만 살아야 하는 거야? 이러면 식욕도 떨어져. 살아갈 의지가 없어지게 된다고. 고기를 먹어도 고기가 상한 걸로밖에 안 보인다고.
갑자기 너무 건너뛴 것 같지 않아?
그리고 저 사람들은 옷의 색깔이 보이고 있잖아.
Ah. With an annoyed look, Aurelia gestured toward the people outside the bus.
개개인분들께 해드린 답변을 합치면 23번째 답변이긴 합니다만 색깔을 돌려받으려면 그에 준하는 돈을 지불해야 합니다.
Ah.
저 정도로 색깔을 돌려받은 거면 코트에 바지에 저 새낀 별로 잘 살지도 못하면서 허세만 있는 놈이야. 진짜 부자들은 안경테나 장신구까지 색깔을 되찾거든.
히스클리프 씨도 이곳에 살고 있을 동안은 계속 색을 보지 못한 상태였나요?
아니, 저택은 어느 정도 예외였어. 그래도 여전히 색이 구린 곳이긴 했지.
Ah.
동의 구려 피의 색 정도는 되찾았으면 싶군.
그런데 저 자식 말이야. 저렇게 어설프게 색깔을 가진 채로 쏘다니면 괜히 뒤통수 얻어맞기 딱일 텐데.
Yeah. Yeah. Heathcliff's predictions came true soon enough. Several thieves surrounded the bloke, who's only trying to come off as though he's loaded, and bash him on the back of his head.
극악무도
Yeah.
발염치한 자들을 보았나? 혼자 다니는 무고한 시민을 단체로 핍박하고 있지 않나?
갱단이라고 부르는 분들인가요?
물이 흐려졌군. 저런 걸 갱단이라고 부를 수도 없고 시간을 못 채운 하류 인생들인 거지. 내가 떠나올 때만 해도 저런 버러지 같은 것들은 저렇게 버젓이 돌아다니지도 않았어.
There are gangs that aren't scummy?
당연하지. 내가 있었던 갱단은 저런 식으로 만만한 놈한테 우르르 몰려가지 않았다고.
타론,
아.
쌩쌩 달리고 싶어. 길이 막혀서 부른
아.
거랑 못해.
뭐 여기서 시간을 지체하는 것도 의미가 없지.
Virgilius finally spoke up after quietly listening in on our discussion for the last few minutes.
돈키호테가 시끄럽게 굴기 전에
하.
내려서 처리하고 오도록.
Fair enough.
정의 집행이군. 고맙네. 킬자베 씨도 익숙해졌나 봐.
아.
이제.
Well, I think. Alright. I wonder. Actually, that's all that there is room for. Alright. Well. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end it then. I shall see y'all next time then. Goodbye.